Today, I'm going to be arguing the need for new policies and record-keeping methods in law enforcement agencies, like a national database that log and prevent Gypsy cops from being hired in our law enforcement agencies. I'm going to start by addressing the big question, what even is a Gypsy cop? Well, it's not some weird mix between a gypsy and a cop. It's actually much more alarming than that. A gypsy cop is a police officer who floats between different departments because of misconduct or poor job performance. These officers are often in trouble for their wrongdoing, but are rarely punished for their actions because they resign before the investigation is complete, so they won't be given a dishonorable discharge. An example of this would be the case of Justin Yarborough. In 2015, Yarborough was in the spotlight for his involvement in a shooting of a college student at Spartanburg Methodist College. Yarborough had been working as a police officer for 9 years at the point of this shooting. Within those 9 years, he jumped between 9 different police departments, 3 of which were in the same year. While working his 7th stop as a Lawrence County deputy in 2013, he resigned during an investigation of alcohol use.
In February of last year, documents filed with the Criminal Justice Academy show he resigned from that job during investigation of alcohol use. Deputies said they could smell an odor of alcohol while Yarborough was responding to a call. Reports provided from the sheriff's office show deputies believed Yarborough's driving ability was compromised, and they said they discovered a half-empty bottle of rye whiskey and a baggie of assorted pills in his patrol cruiser. According to the state records, Yarborough said, "I'm not taking no drug test. I guess I'll resign," which is how he wound up spending 7 weeks with the Pacolet police. Another stop for a possible gypsy cop.
A few years later, he ended up working at the campus of Spartanburg Methodist College as a campus officer, and that was when he was involved in the shooting of the college student. Another example of a possible gypsy cop that you might have heard of actually is Officer Timothy Loheman. Timothy Loheman is the officer who fatally shot Tamir Rice in 2014. Officer Loheman was in the process of being fired from his previous department when he resigned. According to reports, he was being fired for his, quote, lack of maturity and inability to perform basic functions as instructed. Incidents that occurred during his weapons training left his supervisor saying, quote, "I do not believe time nor training will be able to change or correct these deficiencies," end quote. After he resigned from this department, he got a job with the Cleveland Police Department, where he later fatally shot Tamir Rice on a playground. Many of you are probably wondering how Loheman was hired in the first place with his track record. Well, according to Cleveland Police, he was not vetted properly. Loheman omitted information from his application that would have prevented him from getting the job. Information like he was in the process of being fired from his last department and he had been turned down from many other agencies over the past few months. This withholding or erasing of past encounters is a practice very common in smaller police departments. This practice is encouraged by some agencies even. In Mesa, Arizona, Police Sheriff Frank Milstead made an internal video reminding his officers to clean their records of anything they didn't want.
Don't want anybody to have to relive a problem that's already been adjudicated, that they've already been disciplined for, that has already seen the scrutiny in the public eye. So purge your files according to policy. Make sure that the things that you don't want in there aren't in there.
Most of these gypsy cops aren't even spotted and fired until they've harmed someone, like in the case of Tamir Rice. Roger Goldman, a law professor at St. Louis University, says that we need a national database to keep track of all 17,985 police department employees here in the U.S. There are many professions today that use this type of record keeping. One example is doctors. If there's a doctor who's found performing malpractice, they cannot just skip town and start working at another hospital because a national database that logs them all. The Department of Justice told CBS News in 2016 that plans were underway to make a national database to track underqualified officers. This national database would really help departments in their hiring process. It would make it easier to weed out problem officers and keep their departments out of trouble. Putting a stop to gypsy cops is one of the big changes needed to put an end to police brutality. Law enforcement officers should not be able to purge disciplinary records from their files, and that information should be able to follow them wherever they go and whether or not they decide to tell the department.